We're watching a global system get dismantled in real time, and most people, they have no idea what it even is. We're in the middle of a complete global restructure, and that's what I've been talking about for the last 3 days, if you've been listening. 2 days ago, I talked about Trump cutting off globalist money pipelines flowing out of Venezuela and South America. And then yesterday, I talked about how America is divorcing itself from Europe, unfortunately. And today, we're talking about a brand new economic powerhouse forming right in front of us. So here's the through line. For decades, a tiny network of unelected institutions, central banks, supernatural clubs, and a globalist architecture behind the dollar system quietly decided how the world works. It wasn't presidents, it wasn't voters, and it wasn't the nations. And that's exactly why parts of Washington are melting down right now. Parts of Europe are even melting down as well. Because Trump is dismantling that system piece by piece faster than anyone expected, and the Europeans are freaking out. Look at the AI chip approvals with China. That wasn't weakness, that was leverage. And sending Kushner and Witkoff speaking directly to Putin, that bypassed the old diplomatic channels that have controlled global affairs for over 70 years. And now we have this provocative idea bouncing around DC. Listen to this. They're calling it the Core Five. America, China, Russia, India, and Japan. A strategic alignment that sidelines Europe overnight. Do you realize what's going on here? Do you see the scale of what's happening? And of course, the White House denies it. They have to, right now anyway. But everyone in the national security world is saying the same thing. You know what? It fits the pattern. Trump already called the G7 obsolete. He thinks the UN Security Council is a museum piece, and he's openly challenging NATO. And the new national security strategy? Well, it literally warns that Europe faces civilizational erasure. You may not like his style, but he's not wrong about the system being broken. And here's the real danger, and I mean danger for him. When you start dismantling global lifelines, the financial networks, the alliances, the influence circuits that keep entire nations and institutions alive, you don't just disrupt power. You expose all the ride-alongs, the fake supporters, the people terrified that their world of profit and power is ending. That's why you see all the panic. That's why you see all this infighting in Europe. And that's why the same people who pretended to love America are now screaming as the old structure collapses, because this right here is a restructuring of the world order. And they're losing power and money. And for the first time in our lifetime, it's being led not by globalists, but by a man and a movement who believes that nations should control their own destiny. And that puts him in dire danger. America first triggered them before like crazy. But America restructured? That terrifies him even more. And here's what most people aren't even noticing. This restructuring doesn't just challenge Europe or South America. It challenges BRICS. Because if the USA, China, Russia, India, and Japan form a stable competitive economic bloc, then BRICS loses its leverage altogether. It loses its urgency and possibly its entire purpose, which is good for the Americans. This forces them to rethink everything, the same way it forces Europe to rethink everything. And all of this is exactly what Trump said he was going to do in the first place. So when you look at this moment, ask yourself something. What's missing? If all of this is breaking apart, where's the foundation? Where's the leadership at? Our level, the citizens. And this is exactly why we go back to the same message I always share. Citizen servant leaders matter now more than ever because the world is shifting so fast. People are sick of bureaucrats and polished politicians. It's the citizens, you, in your town, your city, your state, your nation, who must decide what comes next. The bureaucratic elite, these global institutions controlling everything, it's cracking in a big way. And if we get in there, citizens who aren't bought, who aren't beholden, who are free, then we can lead. And you know what? It's time that we lead. It's time to take America back. Join me on Patreon and find out how you can get involved with Take America Back, because it's an organization starting, it's a movement, and it's happening right in front of you.